Welcome to the Indiana Broadcasters Association Career Panel. I'm Sam Clement, the Director of Member Services at the Indiana Broadcasters Association, and I'm honored to host today's conversations with some of the absolutely incredible broadcasters from across the state who represent the future of our industry. Before I introduce our group of esteemed panelists, I want to remind you that we are hosting our fall career fair virtually on Friday and Saturday. You must register to meet with stations in advance, and there are still some great openings in both TV and radio for stations that have immediate job openings on air, in sales, in engineering, and in programming. We highly encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity, and hopefully will jumpstart your career in TV and radio. Details are online at indianabroadcasters.org. Now, let me welcome today's panel. First, Brianna Dahlquist, who's a multimedia journalist at Fox 59 WFFT in Fort Wayne. Brianna is a native of Palm Beach, Florida, and a 2019 graduate from Georgia State University, where she majored in journalism with a minor in English. Brianna, thanks for joining us. Next, I'm pleased to welcome Darius Johnson, who's a general assignment reporter at Fox 59, WXIN, and CBS 4 WTTV in Indianapolis. Darius is a graduate of Columbia Journalism School, where he earned a Master's of Science degree with a focus in broadcast journalism and racial issues, and he earned a Bachelor of Arts in English and Journalism from Morehouse College in Atlanta. Darius, welcome to the panel.
Thanks for having me.
Cameron Riddle is a man who wears many hats, working in both TV and radio, a Hoosier native who studied at Ball State. Cameron is a reporter for WRTV6 in Indianapolis, and he hosts his own show, Indy Speaks with Cameron Riddle, on Hot 96.3 WHHH in Indianapolis. Cameron, good to see you.
Hi, everybody.
Mackenzie Roth is the entertainment insider at Wish TV in Indianapolis. A veteran of the red carpet, Mackenzie has covered the Super Bowl, Grammy Awards, and American Music Awards. She also recently hosted Indy's top-rated morning show on Radio Now 100.9 and Houston's 92.1. Mackenzie, thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
And last but certainly not least is Mike Shamus. Shamus is the general manager of Newhoff Media in Lafayette. He's the operations manager and program director at WKOA in Lafayette, where he hosts a morning show, Shamus and Annie in the Morning, which is up for an IBA Spectrum Award for Best Broadcast Personality or Team. Shamus, congratulations on the nomination, and thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
And Shamus, I actually want to start with you because I think as a general manager, you bring quite a unique perspective. Not only someone that's on air, but someone who helps make hires. What are some of the misconceptions that future broadcasters have about securing their first job in TV or radio?
Well, I think one of the first misconceptions is that if you graduate, you're guaranteed a job. And unfortunately, that's not how it works right now, especially with there's less and less jobs in the radio business, but we are looking for people that are multifaceted. So, and another thing that one of the misconceptions is where that job is going to be. So maybe you go to school and you're like, all right, cool, I'm going to get a gig in Indianapolis. It's going to be awesome. Well, you may end up going to Montana, then to Iowa, then back to Montana, then to Wisconsin before you land in Indianapolis. So I always tell people when they're first getting started off that you may have a destination in mind, that's fine, but be willing to move, especially at the beginning of your career, to get a lot more experience so that you're more valuable and it's easier to land that job. So I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions when people get out of school.
Brianna, you just graduated not too long ago. I mean, you were in the shoes of a lot of people that are watching not too long ago. What was that experience like for you in securing your first job?
Well, it was nerve-wracking. I'll be honest. I'll be completely transparent. I guess that's what, people want to hear right now. It was nerve-wracking. But when I put one foot in front of the other and I realized, hey, I don't have to be perfect to get into this industry. I've gone to school for it. I've prayed about this. I've wanted to do this my entire life. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be persistent. And I just kept throwing it out there. I stuck my reel on Twitter. Didn't happen the first time. I did it again and I did it again. I just kept consistently saying, hey, I'm eager. I'm willing to relocate. Someone please hire me. And it happened.
And Mackenzie, you've had all kinds of careers in both radio and TV. As Brianna said, there is a level of persistence that's necessary to have success. And you've had that. What is your advice for securing maybe that first job?
Just to get in there. Here's the thing I wish someone told me is that you are already fully equipped with everything you need and the rest you can learn. So that anxiety, squash it with taking action. I did internships in both TV and radio, not paid, getting up at 3 a.m. I worked a job on the side. I mean, I just got in there and made those connections and just really worked it. And I knew I love radio. I love television. I do podcasting. I do it all. And I'm well equipped to do really anything. So just get in there, and the more people you meet, then the more positions open up for you and you can showcase your skills. So I think that's very valuable. I like to wear many hats, and it serves me. Like in the television world, I'm quick-witted and think on my feet, and I attribute that to radio because we don't have prompters and, you know, those type of things. So really you gather all those skills and you can use them in anything you want to do.
Actually, that's a perfect transition. You talked about connections. Darius, how can future broadcasters make these meaningful connections? You know, there are doors that open up simply because you know someone that knows someone that knows someone. So how do future broadcasters make these meaningful connections?
I think the biggest way to make connections are just from talking to people. I mean, as a broadcaster, you're going to talk to people every single day. You have to be a people person in a sense. I've always kept every connection from every internship, whether that was CNN, whether that is my professor from Morehouse who got me into journalism, or my first journalism professor, or anyone, and just keeping those connections, whether that's just for you to check in, kind of let them know where you are, maybe let them know what some of your goals are. They may always know someone where you would like to go or where you want to be. So it's good to also have that, because I feel like more and more we're realizing it's almost not what you know, it's really kind of who you know. And those connections are really kind of what's helping you get through the doors these days. But I think at that point, you know, it's really about just being persistent, as Brianna said, just to make sure that you are always putting your foot right in front of the other and making sure that you are putting your best self forward, so that people can see that.
Cameron, I don't know that anyone is better connected when it comes to media in Indianapolis than you. I mean, you stepped into big shoes from Amos Brown, and it's because a lot of that is because of just people that you've met. What was your kind of secret to making those connections?
It was kind of a combination of what everyone said. I got involved early in the Indianapolis Association of Black Journalists. I was still in high school when I started going to the meetings, and then you're in the room with everybody. So I had immediately a contact at Channel 8, at Channel 6, at Channel 13, at Fox 59, at Radio 1. That's how I got my job at Radio 1. And then from there, I just worked my way up through Radio 1. And as you said, I got to be around Amos, who sent me places, told people, I'm sending Cameron, this is who he is. And so I got those things were, I don't know, granted to me because of the connections in the rooms that I would be in. I would use each of them to my advantage. And it turned into me getting my own show. It turned into me, I kind of like how Mackenzie has been on TV in a number of capacities, or has been in radio. Once you make the connection in one room, there's another person there who's like, oh, well, you'd be good to do this. Well, then you'd be good to do this. Well, I could use you over here. And here we are.
What is the etiquette for following up with the station? And Brian, I'll start with you because, again, you just went through this. What did you do? All right, I've made this connection. I'm interested in this position. I want them to know that I'm serious about it. What is the etiquette in following up with these connections?
Honestly, and please do not be offended, but do not be a bugaboo. Do not be a bugaboo. They got your email. My news director, hello, he's managing 50 different personalities. He just needs a moment, okay? And strongly hear me when I say this, guys. No DMs, no personal messages. Their Facebook is not... I'm sorry, you know I'm big on social media, guys. You know I love it, but do not DM a news director. Hey, funny video, LOL. Don't do that. Be courteous. Have an outline resume. Hey, this is my reel. I'm going to go ahead and send it. And if you know what, I'm a little old school, mail it. Someone's going to see it, you know, mail it, or, you know, email it to news at whatever station you're inquiring about, and just be patient. You know, the news director, he wears many hats. He's a babysitter. He's, you know, the man, he does everything. So just be patient. Send that email in about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks after the email. Hey, I'm just following up with you. Hope you're having a blessed day. Right now, I checked the weather in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I saw those pictures online. It was gorgeous. Segue into what you're really talking about. Don't get too, out there, but just let him know, hey, I'm not just trying to look for a connection just so you can hire me, but I think I'd be a great asset. I'm going to give you 2 weeks to look at my reel, look at my resume. I'll turn the ball over into your court and I'll go from there.
I thought you said something really interesting there, how you mentioned just a little nugget about, hey, here's the weather, to show that you're taking some interest in what the station is doing, talking about maybe a story that they did. I think that's super important. Seamus, as someone that makes hires, what do people do that kind of helps in their follow-up when you've had that initial conversation?
Biggest thing you can do is do your research. So figure out, if you're trying to apply for a job at Neuhoff Media Lafayette, find out about the company, find out about what our stations are all about. And then if I were you, I would find like-minded stations in America and maybe steal their idea or say, hey, I know you guys are really big on food drives. I just saw this station in Dayton that did a really cool food drive. Have you guys thought about something like that? Because if you're going to bring ideas, you're moving up the list. I mean, and we steal everything. So if you go out there, find it for me and come in with an idea, that's going to show that's going to be something I'm going to be looking for if you're going to be a future employee. So yeah, definitely do your research.
Darius, you came from Atlanta and ended up in Indianapolis. How did you let the Indianapolis community or your future employer know that you can be a valued member of this community, that you've taken stock in learning about Indianapolis?
I think it was weird kind of how it happened. Indy kind of fell in my lap. And at that point, I basically had about 2 weeks, to learn about Fox 59 and CBS 4. Yes, I was familiar with Indianapolis because I'm from Chicago and I used to pass through the city going to school in Atlanta. But at that point, I needed to do my research. I needed to figure out, okay, what is this city about? What is the news in this city? And at that point, I watched Fox 59 daily. I remember the morning of my interview, I watched from like 4 a.m. all the way until 9 when I had to be at the station, just to where I was able to go in and talk about some of the stories that they did recently, give my feedback, maybe say how I would have done something different with respect to that reporter or whoever possibly chose that story. And just kind of going about it that way. I think that's the biggest thing, is making sure you do your research, just like Mike said. And I also wanted to bring up this point, just kind of piggybacking off of Brianna talking about, giving that news director 2 to 3 weeks to respond. My first job was in Savannah. I wanted to get to Savannah. I was at Columbia in New York at the time, and I applied to Albany, Georgia, and Savannah. Albany called me, and I had an interview that Friday, but I still wanted to get to Savannah. So at that point, the news director in Savannah never reached back out. I sent him an email and said, hey, I'll be in Georgia for an interview in Albany on Friday. I really want to come to Savannah. Is this position still open? Can you get me there for that Monday? And you just have to get me a flight back to New York. He responded immediately. I went to Albany that Friday, Savannah that Monday. He flew me back and I had the offer in Savannah a day later. So it was just, making sure, hey, let me reach back out to him again, just in case he didn't see it, because this is where I want to go.
There's no shame in taking that shot. The worst you could say is no. So it sounds like you took advantage of that opportunity. I want to transition into something that I think is very important. Is, all right, you've secured the interview. Now, how do I stand out? Mackenzie, I want to ask you, as we've mentioned a couple of times, you've had careers in radio and television. You've done a little bit of everything. Why do you think you stand out when you go into these interviews? Because you're interviewing for different kinds of positions, but something obviously is clicking.
Right. I really feel like they can just let your light shine. I'm a very passionate person. And, obviously all of our business, it's a very competitive business, but you have to keep this in mind. No one can do it like you can. Like, you are bringing something to the table that nobody else has. So, maybe you have ideas. They love when you bring ideas to the table. And I just think I always come super equipped with what I want to say, ideas, the visions I have, what I can offer to the station, ways I can help the station be lucrative, those type of things. And just, I don't know, I guess I I am the only entertainment insider in the state of Indiana, which is very exciting. So they created this position for me. So I'm ecstatic, and I just want to, obviously bring it. But when I met with the folks here, I loved that they're big picture thinkers, and there was nothing off limits, no out of bounds. So I came full of these huge ideas, larger than they've done in the state of Indiana. And they're like, yes, yes, yes. So just don't be afraid to just pitch stuff out there and think big, think bigger. If you're not, people aren't laughing at, what do they say? If they're not laughing at you, you're not thinking big enough. So just go full blown and just see where it takes you, And I think, honestly, every single business is about those connections you make. Connections are everything. And I love people. I love to connect with people. I'm heavy on social media. I have a huge following where I go. And that they like that. People enjoy that. Employers want to have your following follow you wherever you go. And it, benefits them, obviously.
Cameron, I want to ask you that same question. Before I do, Mackenzie, I want to build off of one thing you just mentioned there with social media. Brianna talked about don't be kind of a pest on social media. There is some etiquette in terms of how you approach social media, but how has your social media helped kind of increase your brand? And do you have any rules to make sure that, all right, I want to make sure it stays as professional as possible, or is it a completely open book?
My social media is all me. And this is something I found: the more authentic I am and the more real I am, the more vulnerable I am, the more people relate to me, the more people want to watch me, they want to listen to me, they want to come to the station. And so I don't overthink it. I bring people every day, all day behind the scenes with me, whether it's I'm sliding off my flip-flops, putting on my heels to go over here, I'm going to a workout class or whatever it may be, because then they feel like I know Mackenzie, and they're not afraid to come up to me at Target or wherever I might be. And they might say, oh my gosh, when you were talking about da, 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 da. And the great thing is they have it programmed that I'm part of their day and part of that routine. And if they don't have me in it, something's missing. And that's knock on wood. That's what, I'm striving for, that it's just making that connection. So as far as my social media goes, I do me, of course. I keep it 100. And I think people respect that.
So Cameron, I do want to come back to you in terms of what makes you stand out. When you went into these interviews and you had these conversations with your future employers, what do you think it was about you that really helped you land these jobs?
Well, I'm in my fourth building, if you will now, TV station and radio. So I'm in my fourth place. And I guess here's what I wish I would have been able to do then that I can do now. And that's know me and know not only what I'm good at, but what I like to do. Because there are things that I'm good at that I don't enjoy doing. And when a news director, program director, general manager asks me, well, what do you bring to the table? I know exactly, based on what it is they're looking for, here's where I fit in. Just kind of how, like Mackenzie said, she brought all these big ideas to the table. Here's what I can do. You pick from these. Here's what I bring. You pick which one you need. What happens to many of us as we try to find our way is we're learning, okay, I'm good at doing hard news stories and talking about crime, but I don't like that. You may be the best at it, but someone in your news is going to be like, no, the way you're out there, you're killing those stories. It's like, yeah, thanks. Not really my cup of tea. I've also been a morning show reporter where the hours aren't great, but you're live. You're not doing many packages, which some people like packages. Started in radio, so I'm on the fly. Let's go. We're doing a 6-hour morning show. You're live every half hour, and then the back half of the show every hour. I've learned what I'm good at now. So I wish that when I was coming out of college, but you're not going to know because you don't have that experience yet. I wish I could go to them then and say, here's what I can do. Because at the time I was like, I can do anything. I know that I could do anything because I went to Ball State and they taught us how to do everything. But now I'm at the point in my career where it's like, okay, I know what I can do. Here's what I want to do. And if we enter into something to where I may be doing something that I'm good at, but I'm not enjoying, at the end of the day, it's not really going to work out for either of us, because eventually I'm going to move on to what it is I enjoy doing, whether that's in TV or outside of TV.
Darius, I want to ask you this question. Everyone's stations on this call are different and they're unique in their own way. Everyone's careers have gotten to where they are in a very unique way. But how do you immerse yourself in your station's culture? Each opportunity that you have, I think, presents a different chance to maybe try new things or do things differently. As Cameron mentioned, you kind of learn about who you are as a broadcaster the more you go on. But what is it about, or what can you do to immerse yourself in your station's culture and even maybe set some of that culture yourself?
I really think a lot of it goes to, who's on your team. You have to look at who you're working with on a daily basis. And just like Mackenzie was saying, you are authentic. Everyone is going to be different. And everyone who is a part of your team, each of you have a different background and each of you have something different that you can bring to the table. And you have to find out what that is that's different and where it can set you apart and bring your station to another level. I think coming into Fox 59 and CBS 4, I kind of didn't know who I was. And then they provided me so many different opportunities where I was able to find my groove and find my niche. And they end up putting me on the big stories and allowing me to tell series of stories during protest coverage and different things like that, where, I knew that I was the person that could do it as opposed to the others who I worked with. So I think that's the one thing is you always have to think about what you can do differently that your other colleagues can't, while still knowing there's something that they can do better than you. And when that time comes that they are going to kill that. And when your time comes, you're going to kill what you can do. So I really think it's a part of you figuring out what your niche and what your groove is and really having that close conversation with your managers and your news directors to learn, what types of stories are needed and even what you can bring to the table and even how they may feel about you and what stories they like you doing, questioning them and getting that feedback on certain stories to where you can grow and kind of go from there. And just like Cameron said, realizing what you like to do.
Brianna, how did you settle in to Fox 55?
Thank you for asking that question. Honestly, for first timers, please listen to this. Before you even get there, I need you to be on that website, learning the culture before you even step foot into that news station. You have to analyze, step back. Because listen, I'm that sports girl from Georgia State University. I'm former sports director for Georgia State Television. However, I'm not covering Cam Newton's football pro camp. I'm not doing that here. So you have to take a step back, analyze what is my news director style? How can I maybe not change who I am, but maybe speak and approach things a different way? How can I adapt to this culture here? When you think about an organization, every single one is different, but they're all unique in their own different way. So if you come in we just opened Trader Joe's. If I come in a Trader Joe's, it's going to be a different environment than Walmart. It just is. So what is that environment like? Do your due diligence and do your research before you even step foot in there so you're prepared. Walking here in Fox 55 News, Fort Wayne is super big on community. And that's one thing I love. The first thing I did was take a long drive. And you know what? I know the students and recent graduates who are watching this are going to love this, but I went to every single restaurant I could. I got cool with the farmers. I got cool with this organization. And the first thing I did was say, you know what? How can I help this culture? They're big on community service. So I olive branch to Big Brothers, Big Sisters. And now every single week I have a segment, whether I'm out in the field or whether I'm on the anchor desk of Big Brothers, Big Sisters, because I know here in Fort Wayne, unlike anywhere else I've been in the world, they're big on community and they're big on local. So, yeah.
Seamus, what about you? You kind of help set your culture at your station, but also what do you do in the community so that the Lafayette area, the West Lafayette area knows that Neuhoff Media is a place where we go if we have information to share or want to tell our story?
We say yes a lot. And I think that's, we try to budget out. We want to be involved in every single community event that we can. And we want to grow our own too. We have our own food drives. We have our own radiothon that we do for Riley Hospital. When we say yes to everything, I got 5 stations. So you might not get a yes on all 5 stations, but you might get a yes on 2 of these 2 stations. And so I have a promotions director who budgets it out, because I always say yes. And then he has to go back and go, dude, we're like triple booked this weekend. I'm like, okay, so let's move these sort of things around. But I think that's important, as we want the business people to spend money with us. And I'm a general manager now, so I talk about money a lot. But we want to be, when a business is associated with a charity and we're helping out that charity, it's going to help us down the road too. And we want to be part of it. We want to be known as, a broadcast industry that gives back to the community as much as possible. And a lot of times it's just running a ton of promos, throwing an interview on air, or physically showing up, once we get through with COVID and they actually have events again, being willing to go down there on a Saturday and do some live hits and help them out as much as possible. It makes a huge difference for them.
I want to ask one final question, and I'll go around the horn on this one for each of you. This is a very unique time, not only to be a broadcaster, but just to be alive in many ways. But our industry has some unique challenges, and it's evolving. But we look at the people we have on our call today, and I think that you 5 are a reason to be optimistic. And I want to ask you, why do you think that future broadcasters, those who have not yet put their foot in the water yet, why should they be encouraged about the future of TV and radio? And I'll start first with you, Cameron.
I would say be encouraged, because when this is a job that in times is very difficult, and may bring you, to be honest, some of the worst times you've ever had. You're going to go through some things. You're going to see some things that are going to be like, those are days I don't want to remember. But at the same time, there are going to be equal, and hopefully, if not more days that you never want to forget, of all the things that you got to see, the places you got to meet, the differences you got to make, no matter what it is that you did. So there was still a lot of joy in this. I think that there are so many opportunities now. I remember for a while it was like, oh, we got all this competition. There's the internet and there's Netflix and everything, and it sounded at first like that would be a bad thing. Now I see it as, no, that's more opportunity for everybody. Now you just don't have to work at a TV station. And even if you do, that TV station now has to do more things to stay relevant. So they can't just do what they used to do. They've got to compete with those other things. So there are more and more opportunities for specifically you and what you are. I guess what I'm trying to say is there is something out there for you. The trick is finding it. There's a spot just specifically carved out for exactly what it is you want to do, what you like to do, and what you're good at. You just have to find it. That's the hard part.
Brianna, what about you?
Amen, Cameron. Amen. Here's the thing, guys. The reason why, like Sam said, you should be encouraged and stay encouraged is because we need you. We need you. We need you. We need you. If you know that you know that you know that this is something in your heart that you want to do, it keeps you up at night. You keep fighting for the opportunity to get your foot in the door. Let me tell you, I am a living proof that all it takes is one yes. One yes. Single mom, here's the thing, single mom out of college. I was a sports director for Georgia State University. All it took me was keep putting one foot in front of the other. All it took is one yes. So be encouraged, because you know what? No one's going to tell a story like you. You are unique in your own right, and you have a way of doing things. So whatever that way is, just be encouraged, because you know what? Yeah, times are hard, but guess what? Tough times don't last. Tough people do. And if you're a journalist, you're tough. Okay? So be encouraged.
Seamus, what about you? Why are you encouraged about the broadcast industry's future?
I'm really encouraged about it. We went through a lot the last 6 months for sure. Radio still reaches 93% of the population every single week, which is great. And for someone who likes to wear multiple hats, and you've heard that a lot here, If you're interested in a lot of things and you're curious about a lot of things, you want to learn how to, edit video, you want to learn how to use Photoshop, you want to start a podcast, you want to start a YouTube channel. We're doing all of those things because we have to. We're able to expand beyond the radio station. So that's the most exciting part. So for people like me that want to get your hands in absolutely everything, it's a perfect time. And yes, we have had some layoffs, and yes, we have right size, but we're also going to be looking to expand down the road. The people that bring a lot to the table are going to have a lot of success in broadcasting moving forward.
Mackenzie, what advice would you give to those who are maybe not as enthusiastic about the industry or concerned about it? Why are you encouraged about broadcasting?
I'm encouraged. Well, I want to add on the heels of what everyone said, rejection is actually redirection. So as I said, never feel so bad about yourself. You're just getting rerouted to where exactly you're meant to be and where you can shine. Be excellent. As Steve Martin said, be so good they can't ignore you. And during these times, human connection, it's more important than ever. Look at us today. I mean, we're all connecting in this way. So when I'm interviewing huge celebrities, I'm in their living room. I'm seeing their pets, their kids, and we're making that connection. I just interviewed an executive producer from the Halloween franchise, and he's like, hey, my father-in-law is from Indianapolis. We made that connection, just things like that. So this is the time. People need you. They want you to just go for it. You're going to find your place. Just get in there and start working.
And Darius, why are you encouraged about broadcasting?
Just like everyone else said, I think that you're needed, and every day there is a different story that has to be told, and sometimes it may take you to tell that story. There are days where I will say today, I hated that I was off today because there was so much violence this weekend, where I got messages this morning where people were offering interviews, and I want to be the one to tell those stories because our city is hurting right now. Like, we have surpassed an all-time record. So I think, if you love news and you love just the adrenaline rush and everything of it, there will always be an opportunity for you in this industry. That's me. I live, breathe, eat, and sleep news. I can be on vacation and have only my personal phone, not my work phone, but I'm still checking emails. I want to know what's going on at all times because, hey, there may be a story that I could think about or someone who I may want to reach out to. And I think it's just you always keeping a curious mind and you always wanting to tell a good story, and hey, be a voice for those who can't get the help that they may need all the time, and just be a voice to those who people often turn their backs on and people may not listen. So I think that's where you step in, and that's where you can really help and make a difference. And that's when people care for you, and they also just look at you as, wow, they aren't just a journalist, they're a real person.
There will always be stories to be told, and having that responsibility as broadcasters to be able to tell them to our family, our friends, our community, I think is just one of the highest honors you could have as a job. So I want to thank Brianna, Darius, Cameron, Mackenzie, and Seamus for taking time to speak with us today. We hope that you learned something. And for those who are interviewing with stations later this week, we hope you can put some of that information to good use. On behalf of the Indiana Broadcasters Association, I'm Sam Clement. Thanks for joining us.